Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Chaos Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post-Photon Hypernova. We actually got some new Chaos support in the latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set. The Chaos monsters focus on using different light and dark monsters and then gaining additional monster effects to either special summon those monsters or, like I said, gain other card effects when you banish those specific monsters with the new Synchro support and the other new monsters we got from the main deck with some spell and trap support here and there. We definitely make a pretty fun variant to work with, blending in all the other engines you have for monsters that have pretty much a generic feel for banishing, whether you use Thunder Dragons or more of the generic Chaos monsters that we've gotten all throughout plenty of the reprints throughout the years. It's a pretty awesome deck to consider building with the new stuff we got from Photon Hypernova. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So big thanks to my buddy Nick for letting me borrow his deck for the video. For the new Chaos monsters, we are running 3 copies of Chaos Witch. You contribute this card to special summon 2 Dark Beast tokens, Fiend Dark level 2, 1000 attack and 500 defense. If this card is banished from the hand or graveyard, you can special summon 2 Light Beast tokens to the field with the reverse stats. And you can only use 1 Chaos Witch effect per turn, and only once that turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for light or dark synchro monsters the turn you activate this effect either. So with that restriction, we do have a good variety of light and dark synchros that we can go into in the extra deck, but still this card can set up some pretty good plays for you to use those tokens for, with the effect of being able to give you those tokens for any of the resources that you want to summon them out onto the field. And with them also giving you the play with the light ones being a tuner and the dark ones being a non-tuner, depending on what you needed, because some of the extra deck restrictions need like a light tuner for a Chaos Archfiend and a non-tuner dark monster to make them. I also run 3 copies of Core of Chaos. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned by a card effect. If this face-up card would leave the field, banish it instead. You can only use each of the following effects of Core of Chaos once per turn, and you can banish 1 dark monster from your hand or graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for light or dark synchro monsters again. If this card is special summoned, you can target one of your banished Shell of Chaos and special summon it. So, with your Shell of Chaos being the next card we'll talk about, it gives you more of a special summon for its own plays, and also being able to banish it instead for avoiding the destruction of it. And you can banish 1 dark monster from your hand or graveyard to special summon it, giving you ways to work with cards like Chaos Witch to summon it onto the field, and then making use of the banish following the effect of Core of Chaos with Chaos Witch also. I also run 3 copies of Shell of Chaos. With this card, it cannot be normal summon or set. Must be special summoned by card effect. If it would leave the field, you can banish it instead. You can only use each of the following effects of Shell of Chaos once per turn. You can banish a light monster to special summon this one, basically being the opposite of Core of Chaos. And then also for the rest of this turn, you cannot summon except for light or dark synchros. And if it was special summon, you can target one of your banished Core of Chaos and special summon it. So both of them work in tandem with one another, giving you the plays needed, with Core of Chaos also being a tuner monster. So you can use both of these cards together to get out their combined form, which is the Chaos Beast, just needing a light tuner and 1 non-tuner dark monster, with both of them being special summoned on the field. For the last of the new Chaos cards, also running 1 copy of Chaos Mirage Dragon. You can target 1 banished light or dark monster, special summon it to your field, but negate its effects. Also for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for light or dark synchro monsters. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can target 1 card your opponent controls up to the number of monsters used for the synchro summon and banish them. So it can take away from that resource. If you wanted to mix and match your number for Chaos Mirage Dragon that you run, it relies on some of your banished plays. So early game, unless you have that set up with your other Chaos monsters banished, you really can't do much with it, but you could always take out some of the Thunder Dragon engine that I am running in the deck as well. So 3 copies of Dragon Dark. The Thunder Dragons being light and dark attribute just adds as a bonus for their plays for when they're banished. You can discard Dragon Dark to add a Thunder Dragon Dark from your deck to your hand, setting up a dark attribute monster in the graveyard for you to use, and with it, when it is sent from the field to the graveyard, adding a Thunder Dragon card from your deck to your hand except for Dragon Dark if it's banished. So with that, you have have more search for your other cards, including 3 copies of Dragon Roar. You can discard it to add 1 Thunder Dragon card that's banished or in your graveyard, except for Dragon Roar. If it's banished from the field, you can special summon 1 Thunder Dragon monster from your deck. So it all comes down to just giving you more and more resources on the field for you to use also. And for the fact that your Core of Chaos is also a Thunder monster means it could potentially be used for setting up more of your monster plays with your other Thunder monsters we run in the deck. Also 3 copies of Thunder Dragon for the added search and being a light attribute to contrast with the other Thunder Dragon monsters we're running, and 1 copy of Thunder Dragon Hawk. You can discard this card to special summon 1 of your Thunder Dragon monsters that is banished or in the graveyard, and if it's banished, you can shuffle any number from your hand or into the deck, then draw the same number of cards for the ones that you put back. So more of a recycle, but still more of a preference just to run 1, since you have more of a special summon and search with cards like Thunder Dragon Dark, and Thunder Dragon Roar. We're also running a small Bysteel engine. Like I said, the biggest thing with the Chaos deck is there's so much combination that you can do with the deck to mix and match with all the different cards you run. For the Bysteel engine, we're running 1 Bysteel Lubellion for the special summon from the graveyard by banishing or attributing 1 level 6 or higher Dark Dragon monster, with the other ones being 1 Bysteel Baldrake, 1 copy of Druis Worm, and 2 copies of Magnemite. Now, if you don't have the Lubellion, you could always put in a 3rd copy of Magnemite, or if you don't have it and you wanted to adjust your numbers for the Chaos Mirage Dragons, you could take that out and put in a copy of this card. If you want to go for the 3 Magnemites, you can also mix around some of the Thunder Dragon cards, maybe dropping down the Dragon Hawk and putting in a 3rd copy. It's also just player preference for those ratios that you want to go with in the deck. Having the banish option for your own cards, but also being able to take away resources from your opponents is also why it's a great match in the deck to use. For a bigger boss monster, we're also running 2 copies of Chaos Dragon Levianeer. For the banish, depending on what you get for your banish with Chaos Dragon Levianeer, if you use all light monsters, you get a special summon. If you use all dark monsters, you get a discard from your opponent's hand. I believe it's actually a shuffle. And if you use light and dark, you can destroy cards in your opponent's field. Just banishing 3 monsters to gain these card effects can also activate the banish plays for your own monsters while summoning out this 3,000 attack point monster onto the field. And also 1 copy of Chaos Emperor, the Dragon of Armageddon. If you don't have this card, I know it's pretty pricey. You could always just put in a 3rd copy of Chaos Dragon Levianeer to replace this card. But the banish is still very, very nice for it. It does get a shuffle back effect after special summon. It cannot be normal summon or set. It must be special summon from your hand or extra deck with this card by banishing 1 light or dark dragon. Or it doesn't have to be a dragon, just light or dark monster from your graveyard. So having these same plays as the original Chaos Emperor Dragon, and also being able to target one of your banished dragon monsters, destroying this card and add that monster to your hand when you're using its pendulum scale effect. Also 1 copy of the Chaos Creator. It cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summoned by banishing 1 light and 1 dark monster from your graveyard. If you control this card with a special summon from the hand, you can target 3 banished monsters with different names, special summon 1 of them, then place the rest on the bottom of the deck. So we do banish a lot in this deck, so having a recycle method with the Chaos Creator is just an added plus to use for the special summon power and then the shuffle back. With some other monsters we run being 1 Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and 1 White Dragon Wyver Buster for more banish depending on the attribute, and having the other search for the other dragon when it's sent to the graveyard. And for the last spot, our hand trap is just Dimension Shifter. Once again, it's another disruptor for your opponent, while also being able just to give you more of a banish setup with your own cards. Really having some cards set up depending on which ones they are, like your Shell of Chaos or your Core of Chaos, won't really matter for sending them off for a Synchro Summon when you use cards like Dimension Shifter. I just prefer it over cards like Ash Blossom because you can disrupt a lot more different decks with this card than you would think when you use your other ones. I say it's a plus when going up against Flunderies, but it's just that risky take using this hand trap also. That is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells, running 3 copies of Chaos Space. You send 1 light or dark monster from your hand to the graveyard. Add 1 light or dark monster that cannot be normal summoned or set from your deck to your hand with a level from 4 to 8 and with different attribute than that monster. And you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 of your banished light or dark monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set, and place that monster on the bottom of the deck, then draw 1 card. So not only do you have a search for a good majority of the cards that we run for some of the bigger boss monsters in the deck all together, having that search and having a lot of one-ofs with Chaos base, while also giving us a recycle power by banishing it as well. Gives it all the more search power in the Chaos deck, also having Chaos in its name, a very fitting search spell to use. For more draw power as well, we're running 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Dark attribute is our main go-to alongside Light, so you have plenty of targets to banish off of Allure of Darkness with this card. And also for the one-ofs, 1 Thunder Dragon fusion with the Thunder Dragons, used for the fusion play, and then also the 1 Call by the Grave. No Monster Reborn or anything like that. We're focusing on a big special summon by using the banish plays for our Light and Darks, so just with more graveyard shutdown for our opponent using that 1 spell. And then also for the traps, we are running 2 copies of Chaos Phantasm. Target one of your banished Light tuners and one of your banished level 8 or lower Dark non-tuners. Return both to the graveyard. Then special summon 1 Light or Dark Synchro monster from your extra deck whose levels equal the total levels of the return monsters. So we have the Chaos Archfiend and Chaos Beast. So if you have cards like Chaos Beast banished, and then you can use your tuner with it, it being a Dark non-tuner, to summon out your Chaos Archfiend, just as a quicker way to utilize this trap in the deck also. And 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence to finish off the deck. We're running 47 cards in the main deck. It's a pretty big deck, focusing on a lot of search and summon, so just make sure you don't run out of resources. That's why we settled on 47 cards. If you didn't want to run 47 and go, drop it down to a 40 card count, you can always remove the Infinite Impermanences and the Dimension Shifters to put you down to a 41 count, and then just run 1 copy of Chaos Phantasm to put you down to 40 cards exact. Moving on now to the extra deck, we're running 2 copies of the new Chaos Archfiend. You need 1 Light Tuner and 1 non-tuner Dark Monster. If any card has been banished this turn, this card gains 2,000 attack. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Also banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. And if this card its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 Chaos Synchro monster from your extra deck except for Chaos Archfiend. You can only use this effect of Chaos Archfiend once per turn. Now the one thing I don't have in the deck is Chaos Goddess. If you wanted to run it, I know it's a more difficult card to get access to with the newer support we received, but I can show you what synchro you can take out for that card. Another target we do have is Chaos Beast with this card, and being one of your go-to ones to summon out in the deck using your cards like your Core of Chaos and Shell of Chaos to summon out this card. If any cards have been banished this turn, it gains 1,000 attack. You can only use each of the following effects of Chaos Beast once per turn. You can target one of your banished Light or Dark monsters, add to your hand, and during your main phase, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 Lighter and 1 Dark monster from your hand and or graveyard, except this card to special summon it from your graveyard, giving you another resource just more and more difficult to get rid of on the field. And then you can even just use your additional level 2 Core of Chaos to go into your Chaos Archfiend synchro from there using this card. For more of the generic synchros that I run in the deck, 1 copy of Borreload Savage Dragon, 1 Psychic and Punisher, and 1 Psyframe Lord Omega. If you have the Chaos Goddess you want to run, you can take out the Psyframe Lord Omega for that spot in the deck. For the Link monsters, we're running 1 copy of Lena the Light Charmer, 1 copy of Dark the Dark Charmer, 1 Thunder Dragon, Thunderstorm Mech, and 1 Avermax for some of the bigger, boss monsters for the Link 4s, while still giving us 2 targets to summon out and take resources from our opponent using our own Light and Dark monsters to summon them out. And then for the Xyz monsters, 1 copy of Baguska. We do run a good variety of level 4 monsters in the deck, including the Banished Dragons, and then just other Chaos cards in the lineup, like Shell of Chaos, and also our Chaos Witch, and also 1 copy of Wallow Thunder, founder of Druid Dragons, and 1 Zeus, the Druid Dragons, mostly for the Bysteel setup, when we can summon this card out, with the final card in the extra deck just being 1 copy of Thunder Dragon Titan for the fusion play with our Thunder Dragon Fusion, and plenty of our Light and Dark Thunder Dragon monsters in the deck. And then as for some of the go-to plays, like I said, the Banish play really relies on what you can set up in the graveyard. Just having your Thunder Dragon monsters to discard and give you the additional search will not only activate your Thunder Dragon effects, but setting up those Dark monsters in the graveyard can give you the additional plays, along with cards like your Chaos Witch, giving you a tribute to give you your 2 tokens that you will have on the field as well to utilize, and then setting up those Dark monsters. And then depending on what you open up, you have, the live buy steel cards in your hand for you to use as well. Just remember with the Chaos Witch, the cards, the tokens will be level 2 non-tuner dark monsters. So then you'll just have to rely on some of the other tuners you have as well. For the summon, and also with this card, you can banish it by banishing 1 dark monster from your hand or graveyard. So you can use the Chaos Witch or the Dragon Dark. Since you can only activate 1 Chaos Witch in a turn, you can banish the Dragon Dark instead. Because along with that, you'll get an additional search and the summon of Chaos Core on the field, which you can then use with the 2 tokens to summon out your Chaos Beast, and then activating the Thunder Dragon Dark as well. You will be locked into your extra deck plays, but at least you'll have more of your searches going, depending on what you go for with the banish also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, thanks to my buddy Nick for letting me borrow his Chaos deck for the video. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.